Hello students, good morning everyone. Today's class we are going to discuss about cache memory in computer organization or architecture. So in the previous video we have seen that main memory types that are ROM and RAM, random access memory and read only memory. Okay, so in that we have seen that the block diagrams, how to write and read the operations. Okay, so that is comes under what your main memory for what ROM and RAM. Okay, so today's class we will move on to the cache memory in computer architecture or computer organization. So first of all, what is that cache memory? So it is a special very high speed memory. It is a special very high speed memory. So means what, compared to other memory, that is RAM memory and ROM memory, it is the faster memory. Okay, so it is used to speed up and synchronizing with high speed CPU. Cache memory is costlier than main memory or disk memory, but economically than CPU register. So cache memory is an extremely faster memory type that act as a buffer between RAM and CPU. You can place or you can sit between whatever RAM and CPU. It holds frequently requested data and instructions so that they are immediately available to the CPU when needed. Okay, so means what, you can take one example. If you want to browse your page through that internet, you can type or you can browser through that internet. So whatever that you are typing, it will open very speed or very fastly. So that time, so cache memory will open that process. Okay, so if you want to access that browser of your home page, so if you want to access that page, you need what, your cache memory. Otherwise you can, if you want to open some applications, okay, so that purpose you need what, cache memory, because it is a faster to other memory. Cache memory is used to reduce the average time to access the data from the main memory. The cache is a smaller and faster memory. Cache is a smaller and faster memory which stores copies of data from frequently used main memory locations. There are various different independent caches in CPU which stores instructions and data. You can store the instructions and data in cache memory. Next, so this is the diagrammatic representation of your cache memory. So you can locate between what, your CPU and memory. So in between you are having what, cache memory. There are two types of the memory, that is the primary and secondary memory, that is the memory part. Okay, so next, levels of memory. So again it is classified into what, level 1 or register, level 2 or cache memory, level 3 or main memory, level 4 or secondary memory. So first we will discuss level 1, or it is also called as a register. So there are classifications of the levels of the memory. It is a type of the memory in which data is stored and accepted that are immediately stored in CPU. It is one of the type of the memory in which you can store the data and accept the data immediately stored in that CPU. So most commonly used register is accumulator, program counter, address register. So these are the examples of what, your level 1 or registers, okay, commonly used. Level 2 or cache memory, it is the fastest memory which has faster access time, where the data is temporarily stored for faster access. You can store the data temporarily. So it is the fastest compared to what, other memory. It is a level 2 or cache memory. So level 3 or main memory. So it is a memory on which computer works currently. It is small in size, and once power is off, data no longer stays in this memory. So once the power is off, data no longer stays in this memory. So it is called as what? Level 3 or memory. So next one is the level 4 or secondary memory. It is an external memory which is not as fast as main memory, but data stays permanently in this memory. You can store the data permanently. So that is called as a what? Secondary memory or level 4 memory. So these are the levels of what? Your cache memory. Okay. So next, what is your performance of that cache? So that is called as what? Cache performance. So when the processor needs to read or write a location in a main memory. So whenever if you want to processor needs to read or write a location in the main memory, it first checks for a corresponding entry in the cache. If the processor finds that the memory location is in the cache, a cache hit has occurred and data is read from the cache. So here cache is hit occurred. So what is that cache hit? If the processor finds that the memory location is in the cache, processor response says that, or it will finds that the memory location is in the cache, then the cache hit has occurred and the data is read from cache. You can read the data from the cache. Okay. If the processor does not find the memory location, okay, so depends on processor. So processor does not find a memory location in the cache, a cache miss has occurred. So whenever your process does not find the memory location in the cache, means what? So processor does not find the location in your cache. So cache miss has occurred. So whenever cache hit and cache miss occurs, so whenever processor finds the location of that memory in the cache, so that is called as a cache hit has occurred. So whenever your processor does not find the memory location in the cache, a cache miss has occurred. So for a cache miss, the cache allocates a new entry and copies in data from main memory. So then the request is fulfilled from the contents of the cache. Okay, so this is what your cache hit and cache miss. The performance of the cache memory is frequently measured in terms of quantity called hit ratio. So hit ratio is equal to what? Hit divided by hit plus miss. Okay, so this is the performance. So then next one, so how to improve that cache performance? We can improve the cache performance using higher cache block size, higher associativity, reduce miss rate, reduce miss penalty, and reduce the time to hit in the cache. So if you want to improve your cache performance, you need what? Increase your cache block size, increase your associativity, reduce or decrease your miss rate, decrease your miss penalty or reduce the miss penalty, and reduce the time to hit in the cache. Next one, types of cache mapping or cache mapping types. So it is classified into three types. First one is the direct mapping. So what is that direct mapping? It is the simplest technique known as a direct mapping. So maps each block of main memory into only one possible cache line, or in direct mapping, assign each memory block to a specific line in the cache. So if you want to assign the each memory to a block, specific line is allocated. Okay, so if a line is previously taken up by memory block, when a new block needs to be loaded, the old block is trashed. So you have to delete that trashed of that old block. So whenever you need new block, an address space is split into two parts, index field and tag field. So it is divided into what? Two parts. First one is the index field, second one is the tag field. The cache is used to store the tag field, where as the rest is stored in the memory. So direct mapping performance is directly proportional to the hit ratio. For the purpose of cache access, each main memory address can be viewed as a consisting of three fields: the list significant bits, W bits, identify a unique word or a byte within a block of main memory. In most contemporary machines, the address is at the byte level. The remaining S bits specify one of the 2s blocks of main memory. The cache logic interprets these S bits as a tag of SR bits, most significant portion, and the line field of R bits. This latter field identifies the one of the M is equal to 2r lines of the cache. So means what, you can write I is equal to, in programming language, I is equal to j module m, where I is the cache line number, j is the main memory block number, and m is the number of lines in the cache. Okay, so number of lines in the cache, main memory block number, and cache line number. So this is what our two fields, one is the tag, another one is the word. Okay, so main memory you are having what, tag and word offset. In cache memory you are having what, tag and line offset and word offset. So this is the diagrammatic representation of what, how the direct mapping will works. So main memory pages, you are having what, one frame. So in that frame you are having what, data. So block frame, in that you are having data. So that is set 0, set 1 up to what, set of s minus 1. So you are having what, cache control logic and CPU. So whatever we have discussed in the above points, so that are the concept comes under what, in this diagram. Okay, so only one mapping for what, each line. So one line is comes from what, each memory locations. Okay, so associative mapping, in this type of the mapping, the associative memory is used to store the content and the address of the memory word. Okay, so any block can go into any line of the cache. Okay, so whatever that block is there, any kind of the block will go into the any line of the cache. So but in the direct mapping, each block can go into the what, only one line. So here any block can go into any line of the cache. Okay, so this means that the word ID bits are used to identify which word in the block is needed, but the tag becomes all of the remaining bits. This enables the placement of the any word at any place in the cache memory. It is considered to be the fastest and most flexible mapping form. Okay, so associative mapping. So this is the main diagram. Main memory set 0, block frames block 0, block 1 up to block n minus 1, cache control logic and CPU. Okay, so but in there you are taken what, each line of that block goes to the only each line of that space. So that is the direct mapping. So next one is the set associative mapping. So this form of the mapping is an enhanced form of direct mapping, where the drawbacks of the direct mapping are removed. Set associative addresses the problem of possible thrashing in the direct mapping method. It does this by saying that instead of having exactly one line that a block can map into in the cache, we will go to few lines together creating a set. So you have to create few lines and you have to create one set. So then a block in a memory can map to any one of the lines of a specific set. So whenever one specific set is there, so you can map any one of that lines through that block memory. So set associative mapping allows that each word that is present in the cache can have two or more words in the main memory for the same index address. Set associative cache mapping combines the best of direct and associative cache mapping techniques. In this case, the cache consists of number of sets, each of which consists of number of lines. The relationships are I is equal to j mod v, where I is equal to cache set number, j is equal to main memory block number, v is the number of sets, and m is the number of lines in the cache number of sets, and k is the number of lines in the cache set. So this is the main memory tag and word offset, tag and set offset and word offset, that is the cache memory. Okay, so through tag you can one through the set offset, another through the tag. Okay, so main memory, so memory through that one you can go through the what, specific set of that main memory to the what, each line of that cache memory. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation. Main memory block frames block 0 to set 0. So means what, each block of that memory will represent the specific set of that cache memory. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation. So in the direct mapping, you are having whatever that memory block is there, so that will send through only one line of that cache memory. but in associative mapping, in associative mapping or set associative mapping, so in associative mapping you can in this type of the mapping, associative memory is used to store the content and address of the memory word. Any block can go into any line of the cache. So whatever that block of that memory is there will go to the any line of that in associative mapping. But in set associative mapping, each block of the memory will move on to the specific set of that cache memory. So in diagrammatic you can represent here. So this is diagrammatic representation. Okay, so block frames, block and set. Okay, so combine it will move on to the what? That memory location. Block n-1 up to set n-1. Types of cache. First one is the primary cache, second one is the secondary cache. What is that primary cache? A primary cache is always located on the processor chips. This cache is small and its access time is comparable to that of processor register. Primary cache is always located on the processor chip. This cache is small and its process time is comparable to that of processor register. Secondary cache. The secondary cache is placed between the primary cache and the rest of the memory. It is referred to as a level 2 or L2 cache. Often the level 2 cache is also housed on the processor chips. Next one, applications of the cache memory. Usually the cache memory can store a reasonable number of blocks at
मोबाइल ತಗೊಂಡು ನೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ
Usually, the cache memory can store a reasonable number of blocks at any given time, but this number is small compared to the total number of blocks in the main memory. The correspondence between the main memory blocks and those in the cache is specified by mapping functions. So you can map throughout that functions. So thank you for attending this session. I hope you people are enjoying and understanding these concepts. Okay, so again we will remind this one, otherwise we will revise this one. What are the concept studied for in this class? Okay, so first one is the cache memory concept. What is the cache memory? So after that, what are the levels of the cache memory? In that again level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So after that, mappings of or classifications of cache mappings. Okay, and in that direct mapping, associative mapping and set associative mapping. You know how to represent of that direct mapping. Okay, so associative mapping and set associative mapping. So this is what your diagrammatic representation of set associative mapping. Through diagram you can easily understand. So here the block frames, block 0 is what? Set to 0. So specific one set is there in set associative mapping. Okay, so next one, in associative mapping, so this is the diagrammatic representation of, they have not given the diagram but you can represent very easily. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation of what? Associative mapping. So main memory set 0, you can represent any block to the what? Any kind of that lines. So that is the associative. And direct mapping, so this is the representation set 0, set 1, set s-1. Means what? Each block of that memory will represent any one of that line. Means what? Not any one of the line. So that line, one line is going to be what? That first memory location, another memory location to the what? Second. Like that you can represent. Okay, so this is regarding information about what? Cache memory. So today we will stop here. So in the next class we will discuss again the associative memory. Okay, so after that we will discuss the virtual memory. Okay, so thank you.